This is Reuters today. Coming up, Asia's factories struggle in the face of weak European demand and Euro malaise of a different kind for the US as the spirit of Sevi Ballesteros inspires a stunning Ryder Cup comeback. We start, though, with confirmation of one of the resource sector's biggest ever takeover deals. Xstrata's board has given its long-awaited blessing to Glencore's $33 billion takeover, on one condition: that shareholders also back a plan to retain key managers. Current Chief Executive Mick Davis will be replaced on the board by another Xstrata executive, retaining the current balance. The merger will create the world's largest exporter of coal for power plants and the biggest producer of zinc. Eurozone manufacturers in focus today. The latest batch of PMI data are expected to confirm the region is mired in recession. Data out already today showing the slowdown is hurting Asian economies. Reuters' Lisa Yuriko-Thomas is in our Singapore newsroom. Chinese factories continuing to struggle, Lisa?
Right, little relief for Chinese manufacturers. The official PMI number for September coming in at 49.8. This is up slightly from last month, but it's the second straight month of contraction. Now, on the bright side, the pace of the slowdown is stabilizing. Now, for smaller private manufacturers, they're doing worse. HSBC manufacturing PMI shrank for the 11th month in September. All of this data pointing to sluggish Q3 growth. Now, whether this actually will lead to a large stimulus is still very much up for debate, as there's fears of inflation and a property price rebound.
All right. The mood of Japanese business also turning sour, right, Lisa?
Yeah, not a great day in Asia, I guess you could say. Big Japanese manufacturers feeling more pessimistic about business conditions. That's according to the government survey. Now, what's to blame? Of course, you have the global economic slowdown, but it's particularly the weak Chinese and European export demand that's hurting. Adding to the worries, of course, is the China-Japan dispute over the islands that's hurt some of the car manufacturers. And this is all announced on the day when Prime Minister Noda announces a cabinet shakeup, including a new finance minister who has a lot of work cut out for him.
OK, Lisa, many thanks. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Right, let's get straight to Mike Ingram, market analyst, BGC Partners, talk to him about all of this. Morning to you, Mike. You know, as we take stock of Q4, and I wanted to ask you what you're most worried about going into the quarter. Is it Europe or the US? I mean, let's throw Asia in there as well on the back of what Lisa's just said.
Yeah, I mean, I think Europe remains very much focal for both myself and market watchers. I mean, if you're looking at the situation that Spain finds itself in, I'm reading this morning that Spain's had to revise its budget deficit up for last year once again, which obviously rebases the hurdle that they've got to negotiate both this year and next. And, you know, these austerity budgets are throttling the European economy. And if this PMI number comes through, is confirmed, that's going to be the 13th consecutive month of contraction. So, yeah, I mean, the economies are in a slump. It could well be that retaining the Ryder Cup was the best news out there.
Yeah, but OK, but back to the question, though. Are you more worried? It seems to me you're more worried about Europe than you are about the US right now, the fiscal cliff.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, rightly or wrongly, I mean, I think the fiscal cliff is a huge issue. But markets tend to compartmentalize things, and they can only worry about, just a few things at a time. And they've convinced themselves that Europe is the only thing we need to be worried about. Make no mistake, this thing in the US, the fiscal cliff, is going to come back and bite us towards the end of the year. But right now, it's all about Europe, I think.
Were you surprised that Moody's didn't downgrade Spain?
I was a little bit. I mean, they may be regretting it now that they've seen that the budget outcome last year was worse than they thought. But, to be honest with you, I think it's only a matter of time. I mean, you're looking at a debt which is going to go up probably by another 10% of GDP over the next 12 months. And, I was looking back over some IMF numbers, and they published something called a fiscal monitor. And Spain and Japan were the only two countries where they didn't see debt GDP stabilizing within any kind of forecast period. So, it's not going to turn out well.
Very quickly, Mike, on this Xstrata Glencore story, I mean, a general comment on these mega mergers. Do they last? Do they provide value?
Well, there have been a lot of studies on these. I mean, generally, they're not thought to create a great deal of value. And what I would say is on mergers generally is they generally deliver on the cost synergies, but very little on the revenue synergies. And always remember, OK, this is something of I think, a Pyrrhic victory for Xstrata shareholders, because they could have sold back in February when this deal was first announced and actually made more money than they're going to cash in right now.
Mike, many thanks.
My pleasure.
Finally, Germany comes to Europe's rescue once again, as we just heard. Martin Keimer secured the vital point to retain the Ryder Cup, sealing one of the greatest comebacks on a golf course.
Jose Maria told me, we need your point. And I don't really care how you do it, just deliver. But I like those, you know, that's very straightforward. That's the way we Germans are. And fortunately, I could handle it and yeah, made the last putt.
Well, the result marks Europe's 4th Ryder Cup win on US soil and their 7th in the last 9 competitions. That's it. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.